Hi, how is everyone out there doing today? This is Amy Hamilton, author of The Project Manager, Life is a Project, and The Consummate Communicator, Character Traits of True Professionals. We are continuing our Veterans Day special, 24 authors in 12 hours marathon here, and I am here with Dr. Phil Carson. Dr. Phil is also a free agent press author that's owned by James Woosley, a veteran-owned organization. And so, Dr. Phil, I would like to ask you a little bit about your book and the importance of wellness, especially right now during this time of COVID.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is an extremely important time for us to be concerned about our wellness. That's for sure. And I'm grateful to be on the program with you today, Amy. I really appreciate you inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share about what I'm passionate about. And that's helping people acknowledge that they need to be more focused on their health and taking care of themselves and their bodies. Like you said, especially in this time that we're in right now.
So if people read their book, what's kind of some highlights that you can give us without giving us all the spoilers?
Okay. All right. Well, I cover everything in the book concerning body, soul, and spirit when it comes to health. How to live a full and vibrant life, taking care of every aspect of our being. I mean, I believe that we're three-part beings. We have a body, we have a soul, we have a spirit, and often people focus on one of the other, and they do extremely well in staying healthy body wise, but they neglect the soul and the spirit. And sometimes it's the other way around. But I think for optimal health, optimal wellness, we need to make sure that we're focusing in on all three and working to stay as healthy as we can in every aspect of our being.
That's a really good point. Earlier in one of the segments, we were talking about the importance that, right now during COVID, people are really focused on physical health and they're placing that first, which is, important to prevent a pandemic. But at the same time, their
Yeah.
mental and their emotional health are suffering because a lot of
Yeah.
people are in isolation. A lot of people don't have any kind of contact. I know one personal friend of mine just living in her apartment, and she wrote a post and she said that she's had no physical touch from anyone other than her physician in like almost 9 months. What is your advice to people on how can they take care of their, their mental, their emotional, as you said, the soul and the spirit right now when they're having to self-isolate?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're exactly right there. I mean, it's extremely important, and there are so many people that are suffering mentally and emotionally right now, and that's affecting their spiritual health as well. And a lot of people that their spiritual life, one of the greatest things consists of gathering together and in church, gathering together with friends for Bible studies, different things, the relationships that they have, and they're not able to do that, or they're limited on what they can do. And so, yeah, it's affecting both of those areas of the health. But the mental health right now is a big thing. A lot of people are really, really struggling. And so, what I suggest people to do is try to stay as connected as you can through social media, through picking up the telephone, calling, and encourage people to reach out to people that are really truly isolated. Like my mom is in an assisted living home, and we're not able to visit her. So I try to call her, every day, and talk to her for a little bit. And so, I encourage people to try to stay as connected as they can with friends, with family, and there are a lot of people out there that don't have somebody that's close to them to reach out to them. And one of the things that I teach people, and I love for people to acknowledge and understand, when you are struggling emotionally, and maybe the stress of everything going on in the world today, including COVID is affecting your health. One of the best things you can do to help yourself, especially if you're getting into a state of depression, is to reach out and try to help somebody else. I read an article years ago. This guy titled the article "The Cure for Depression," And basically what the whole article was about us taking the time to help somebody else. When we're down, we're out, and we reach out to help somebody else, it ends up helping us. We do it with a motivation a lot of times to help them, but it ends up helping us as well. So I encourage people, you're feeling that and you're feeling depressed, to find something you can do. Reach out to somebody, in an assisted living home or in a nursing home. Call and pick up the phone and call them, do something do some volunteer work if you're able to do that in some way. Sometimes volunteer work can be done over the phone. And so
Such a
encourage
good
people to
point.
get
And one
involved.
of the things about this segment that I normally wait till later, but I'm going to focus now, is supporting the Wounded Warrior Project. So this is Veterans Day, and if you're looking for a really great nonprofit organization that helps out veterans and it has volunteer opportunities, I've put the information in the link. One of the other things, Dr. Phil, that I notice right now, and it just brings me a lot of cheer. I will tell you, here in Arlington, Virginia, it is raining and gloomy, and just a kind of a day where I could not be outside. And you are there, and I look at this backdrop, and what's your thoughts? Obviously, I feel like you're going to have some strong ones on getting out into nature and enjoying the outside as much as possible.
Oh, thank you so much for that question. I love it. I love talking about that because it is so important as you get out outside, to get into nature, and that's therapy. I met a guy in Nashville last year that actually is filming a documentary, primarily with veterans who are walking the what's the famous trail in the Appalachian Trail, who are doing a type of therapy, outdoor therapy, to heal from PTSD and other issues they're dealing with. So he's filming a documentary on this, and I think it's extremely important to get outside, get in nature. I teach something, and I encourage people to do what we call grounding, and that's reconnecting with the earth. Get outside, walk around barefooted in your backyard or in your front yard somewhere. Just connect, or even anywhere. Put your feet on the ground, and it can be energizing. And they call it grounding for a reason, because it grounds us. And sometimes we need to be grounded. We need to be brought down a little bit. We need to reconnect with the earth and with nature. God created all this beautiful earth for us to enjoy, and it's healing and helpful for us as well.
That is wonderful. And I'm happy to announce to the audience that Jeff McNeese, who we had some technical difficulties with, we're going to try again at 8:30. And we're going to talk to him. And it's really exciting because he talks about the importance of pruning. And once again, very much this kind of grounding nature. He uses it a lot as a metaphor, like in life, that sometimes we have to cut away the dead things in order for new things to grow, which this just really resonates with what you're talking about. And kind of hijacking your interview here a bit, but I just want to say that I do a lot of my own gardening, and I had this giant mulch pile delivered a few weeks ago, and people would come by and be like, you should hire somebody, you should get help. And I was like, to me, being able to mulch my own garden is, first of all, it's like a form of physical fitness that, hey, I'm almost 50 and I can still like mulch, like, wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow, right? And then, we'll go and pay a lot of money at a CrossFit gym to do that, and I get to do it for free. And the other thing is, like you said, this connectiveness to nature. And I look at that background and I just think, what a wonderful thing. And you were saying you hold actual meetings outside with your clients on this.
Yeah, I do. This is my outdoor office. I have an indoor office, but when the weather permits, I can be outside. I'd rather be outside doing interviews, doing I do telehealth conferences with people every day, and most often I'm outside doing them. And so getting out and getting the sunshine. Another thing too, I'll mention this: sunshine is so important, that we get sunshine on our skin, in our eyes, to help with the production of vitamin D. And that's a big thing too. People are staying inside; they're not getting natural vitamin D production by being outside in the sun. And studies show that low vitamin D levels can contribute to depression and cause the person to be even more depressed. So if you can't get outside, that's one of my words of advice today. You look into or talk to your doctor or pharmacist about taking vitamin D as well.
That's really interesting. Someone recently wrote on a post, for depression, they said go to the beach, and someone took it flippantly. And the person may had to expound, and she said, no, like literally, I have seasonal depression, and by just getting away and getting to the beach, it actually helps with my depression. And I had not heard that, and so hearing this again, it just triggered this moment of the importance of getting your vitamin D, getting outside. And I know that in a lot of places further up north, they actually recommend using sun lamps, so that you're getting those kind of, I'm not familiar with the technology behind it, but so you are getting that feeling of being in the sun if you're someplace where it's very limited sunlight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. When you go into the beach, you're getting two forms of therapy. You're getting grounded because you're walking barefoot on the beach. I've never seen anybody walking with high heels on the beach. Everybody's barefoot on the beach, and and then you're also getting the sunlight. So
that is so wonderful. And I think there's also another form of the beach therapy, which I experienced a few weeks ago. I went with my sister to Hilton Head, and I had to base the risk of travel versus the risk of my mental and emotional health. So I went ahead and I did it. We tried to be as safe as possible. Luckily, a month later, and no one's sick, so I think we accomplished it. But I slept every night with the screen door open. We were up on the 8th floor, so I figured pretty low risk of leaving the door open. But I could hear the ocean waves every night, and I slept so well. And so what is your thoughts on that, on like sound therapy? I know that different people recommend this for sleep.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that is another added benefit of being at the beach too, and the sounds of the waves coming in, the ocean, the sounds of the birds flying, all around. It's just, that sound therapy is extremely important for helping a lot of people when it comes to sleep struggles. And there are quite a few things that I've discovered over the years that interrupt people's sleep and cause sleep issues. But the sound therapy that you're talking about can be very helpful for some.
Yeah. So if somebody would go to your site now, philcarsonwellness.com, what services would you be able to provide them, and do you have to offer?
Yeah. Well, I provide one-on-one consulting sessions. Somebody wants just a simple one-on-one consult with me, that's available. Also, I do extended coaching. I do health coaching. I have people that work with me on an extended basis for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and beyond. Whatever. I encourage people that are struggling with different health issues to engage with me for at least 90 days to get things in balance and restore. At least begin restoring their health. And a lot of times we see significant changes and improvements within a 30-day period of time. But we want to work with them for an extended period to make sure that you're staying on track and that kind of stuff. And also I do some group coaching, some corporate coaching, working with the small company right now, coaching their company's employees that are a lot of them are struggling with health issues, and their type of work they do is pretty stressful. So that's one of the main things that I focus on, is helping people that are struggling with the effects of stress in their life and their health, and people that also that have been under major stress for years, possibly, and it's affected their health in a lot of negative ways, and they're looking for ways to get their life back and ways to be able to feel good again. A lot of people that are in that situation, that do struggle with the sleep issues that we were just talking about. Stress is one of the major underlying causes of sleep struggles. And also, one of the number over my years of working as a pharmacist, working as a clinical pharmacist in clinics, number one complaint I would get from people, from patients that would come in to see me, is that I'm exhausted. I don't have any energy. What can I do? Give me something to help me get my energy back. and most of the time that's from stress in their lives, or some kind of traumatic event that just triggered something different physical things in their lives that they're just exhausted, and they're struggling to get through the day every day. So I help people get to the root cause of those issues and find the root cause. And sometimes we can, a couple of one-on-one sessions, we can get to find out a lot of things. But for recovery, a person is really struggling. It takes more than one hour one-on-one session.
Great. Dr. Phil, I kind of want to adjust a little bit. We're halfway through our segment, and this is going by so quickly. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're there already.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is remind the audience that for the entire day, 24 authors in 12 hours. It's not going to be 24 authors in 12 and a half hours. As I mentioned, Jeff McNeese is going to meet with me right after I do my interview with James Woosley. So super excited that we were able to work through his issues, and he's going to be on at 8 o'clock then for everyone. But for the entire day, my books, The Project Manager, Life is a Project, and The Consummate Communicator, Character Traits of True Professionals, available all day for free Kindle download. So please go ahead and check those out. And also print copies, 10% of all proceeds will be going to the Wounded Warrior Project. And I want to put the Amazon link in for your book, Dr. Phil. And this is a lot of why we connected is this is your lovely book, How to Live Until You Die. And I love this little key. It's like the key to your wellness. And I think that's pretty powerful, this concept. But, when you look at this book, this is a gorgeous book. And I look at it and, it's a tactile sensation. I do miss book festivals where you can walk around and talk to the authors about the experience and the process, which is a lot of why I created this forum for the different authors, is because we don't have that anymore. We can't just have a book signing at our local indie coffee shop. And I'd like to talk to you now about what inspired you on writing this book, and then how did you go about the process to write this wonderful, wonderful creation that you put together?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Amy. Yeah. Well, I was one of the things that inspired me was people that I would coach, people I would talk to, people that would come in my pharmacies for years, and I would tell them about things that they had no clue about. Nobody had ever told them, and I would get the comment all the time from people, "Why hasn't my doctor told me this?" And they would say, "You need to write a book." And so I heard that all the time. And I finally decided one day, hey, I guess it's time. I need to write a book, put down some of these things that I teach, some of these things that I believe, some of these things that I've experienced in my own life, and also experiences I've had working with patients. So in the book, there's my own experiences, there's patient experiences. It's not just an information book. There's stories there too, life-changing stories, including my own. And so I was inspired by many people and encouraged by many people to write the book and share those stories and share the experiences with the world. And so I'm thankful that I got to do that, and working with James Woosley. I had met James several years before I wrote the book, and knew the type of work that he did, knew his character, his integrity. And when I decided to do it and self-publish, I wanted to work with somebody that could help me, and I knew James would be the right person. And working with him and editor Jennifer Harshman, they both helped me tremendously in getting my book out there to the public.
So just a reminder for everybody, everything here is interconnected today. It's a super amazing day to be part of this, 24 authors in 12 hours. And a bit of misnomer for you, audience members, is that 2:30 we do have Jennifer Harshman, and Jennifer is an editor, not actually an author, but she's going to share the kind of behind the scenes of editing. And then James Woosley will be closing out the day at 7:30, telling, talking to us a little bit more and sharing with us about his experiences, both as an author, as a publisher. And then once again, Jeff, it will be a special bonus round. So I'm going to be going on for 12 and a half hours today. So I guess I need extra coffee. But when you wrote this wonderful book, and I love the feel of the book, and you have this also available in what other formats?
It's in Kindle version as well. Got the print version and the Kindle version right now.
Wonderful. And the link to your book is up here right now if people want to go to the Amazon link. Can you also buy the book through your webpage?
Yes, carsonnatural.com. I have an online store, supplement store. My book is in that store as well, carsonnatural.com.
Great. And so when you worked with James, and as an author, kind of you mentioned kind of the inspiration. Did you have any challenges in the writing process itself, or any tips for people who are inspired, who want to start writing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I struggle with writing, and I had a coach too that coached me in the writing process, and Andy Tribe worked me through. I worked with a ghostwriter as well to help me put things together, and make it better than what I could do on my own. So I worked with several people in putting this book together. But some people have the gift and they can just sit down and write. I'm not that gifted at doing that. So I reached out to people that are gifted and you could help me. And so that's the process that I used. And then got Jennifer and James involved in the end as well, and finishing things up. And so it was a process, and it's not an easy process, but I tell you, it's worth it because the encouragement that I've gotten, the testimonies that I've gotten from people, the doors that it's opened for me. So if anybody out there is thinking, hey, I've got a book in my head, I've started writing one, I just don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, reach out and get somebody to help you and get going. Get your message out there to the world.
Yeah,
Somebody
and the other
needs to hear it.
Is really, there's so many different authors forums out there right now. I use about 3 or 4 different sites on Facebook, and one of the things that really inspired me to start the 24 authors in 12-hour series was so many authors were like, back in the traditional world, what I would be doing for my book launch is I would be like arranging stuff with indie coffee shops to do some signings and some independent bookstores. I'd be doing a tour, doing some public speaking. And for so many people, COVID changed all that. COVID changed the business model. And so this is really an opportunity for authors to help authors, for authors to share the information. And this is where, when I was talking to James as my agent, and I said, well, James, you're a small business and you're a veteran-owned business. Let's get the word out about both the services that you have and then these amazing books. And I will tell you, and James will talk more about the story too, is these books hold up against any book from a major publishing house. Like when people see it and they see that this is from Free Agent Press, it's a book that you don't have to worry about the formatting. You don't have to worry about the typos like you do in a lot of self-published books. And what are your thoughts on that, on the quality of the book and how it's been received?
Oh yeah, yeah. I get comments on it all the time, and like I said, James did an amazing job in helping me finish and put all the touches on it and get it out there in the quality of that you see, and having him to coach me and guide me and format it and put it get it out there on Amazon for me. I had no clue about how to do any of that any of that stuff. And it was worth every penny and that I paid James and his efforts. And and the thing about James too is he's all about providing value, and he's got a big heart and he loves helping and serving people, and that's the kind of people I love working with because I'm the same way. And so it's I would encourage people, don't hold back, get it out there. If you've got a book in your head, put it out.
Yeah, and a really good point about James is like you said, that selfless service. And so many of the different author segments today with Todd Simmons, with Barry Overton, we've kind of talked about this need of servant leadership, the need to serve others.
Mm-hmm.
And when you work with James Woosley, he's somebody who he will mentor you, he will guide you, he will lead you and
Yeah.
try to help you, but at the same time, always giving you as an author that creative process, working with you on your cover art. Did James help you with your cover art? Did you have it from someone else?
Yeah, he gave me some guidance on that. We had an artist to do that for us and submitted that to an artist and submitted the ideas to an artist. And yeah, but he gave me some guidance on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so really just helps you through the entire creative process, helps you to make sure that what you're sending out. And then Jennifer as an editor, I mean, just such a joy to work with.
Oh yeah.
So we're wrapping up this segment. And before I close, Dr. Phil, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that I have not touched on yet?
I would just encourage people, to consider it, or like we've been talking about, and especially in the beginning, to consider where they are health wise and what they're doing. To take care of themselves. People need to be more focused on their health, take charge of their health. I have a quote in my book. I would like to share this. It's by a famous lady, individual, and I love sharing this quote. She said, in the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die. And the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. We're responsible for our own health. And so many people are looking for somebody else to be responsible for their health or for whatever else in their lives. But we are the one who are ultimately responsible. That quote's from Eleanor Roosevelt. So I encourage people, take Eleanor's words to heart and be responsible. Take responsibility for your health. And do that things that need to be done. And that's what I teach in my book, how people can easily take some things and put them into action on a day-to-day basis to improve their health, to stay healthy, to get better if they're struggling.
So once again, this is How to Live Until You Die. Dr.
Yep.
Phil Carson, his website is on the ticker. We've also put how to purchase his book on Amazon in the comments. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Dr. Phil, on this special Veterans Day edition of 24 Authors in 12 Hours.
Yes, thank you, Amen. I want to say, as far as Veterans Day, I thank you for your service. I know you're a veteran, and James is as well. I've got multiple family members that are veterans, and I love our country, and I love what you guys have done to serve our country, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being on the broadcast today.
Thank you.